In the dawn of an uneasy era, India faces a stark question. Can this South Asian giant survive a simultaneous conflict on three fronts, with China to the north, Pakistan to the west, and a possibly hostile Bangladesh to the east? History offers clues. India has fought China in 1962 and Pakistan in 1947, 1965, 1971, the latter leading to the birth of Bangladesh, and again in 1999, Kargil. And just this year, New Delhi unleashed Operation Sindoor, striking terror camps across the border into Pakistan, hitting air bases like Noor Khan and Rahim Yar Khan. These recent precision strikes, reported to have bypassed advanced Pakistani air defenses, underscore India's growing military reach and resolve. But an operation is one thing, a sustained war on three fronts is quite another. The math of force size and firepower is stark. India's army numbers about 1.5 million active troops, roughly 4.25 million when including reserves and paramilitary units. China's military outpaces that, with over 2.0 million active duty soldiers, 3.0 million total, Pakistan fields only about 0.66 million active troops, 1.5 million total. And Bangladesh roughly 0.17 million active, 0.235 million total. On sheer manpower, India and China dominate. Pakistan and Bangladesh are far smaller. Land forces, India and China both deploy thousands of tanks and artillery, though much of the Sino-Indian frontier is rugged and suited to infantry-artillery duels rather than armored thrusts. Pakistan and Bangladesh have smaller armored forces, limiting their ability to sustain heavy mechanized offensives. Missiles and strike systems. India's BrahMos cruise missile, Mach 3, and Agni series ballistic missiles, Agni 3-4 range approximately 3,500, 5,000 kilometers, Agni Phi up to 8,000 kilometers, grant deep strike capacity into Chinese and Pakistani interiors. Pakistan's longest-range missile systems top out below 2,000 kilometers, primarily targeting India. All four countries are nuclear-armed, creating a fragile deterrence balance, especially between India and Pakistan, where tactical nuclear doctrine looms. Air power. India operates approximately 2,200 combat aircraft, Su-30s, Rafales, MiGs, while China fields over 3,300, including stealth fighters and bombers. Pakistan's air force of approximately 1,400 jets, F-16S, JF-17S, and Bangladesh's few dozen older fighters are outmatched numerically and technologically. Navies, India's Blue Water Navy, 2 carriers, a nuclear submarine, destroyers, frigates, dominates the Indian Ocean. Pakistan and Bangladesh maintain small coastal navies with no carriers and only diesel submarines. The Indian fleet could interdict sea lines of communication, but an eastern front against Bangladesh would be largely riverine and littoral. Geography and the nature of each front? Northern, China. High-altitude Himalayas favor the defender. Large-scale offensives are logistically onerous. India could mount limited counter-thrusts along certain passes, but would struggle to sustain offensives deeper into Tibet. Western, Pakistan. Flat plains and desert facilitate rapid armored advances or defensive deployments. India's strike corps could move swiftly but must guard against Pakistani counterattacks and cross-border raids. Eastern, Bangladesh. Lowlands crisscrossed by rivers and deltas pose logistical challenges. Mechanized units can advance quickly, but monsoon flooding and poor infrastructure could hamper large-scale operations. Geopolitical alignments and external support. The Quad, India, US, Japan, Australia, serves as a diplomatic security consultative forum aimed at maintaining an open Indo-Pacific. In wartime, its most likely support would be political and possibly economic sanctions on aggressors rather than military intervention. BRICS and SCO include India alongside China and Russia, functioning as platforms for economic and security dialogue, but offering no formal mutual defense commitments. Russia remains India's largest arms supplier, but has strengthened ties with Pakistan and maintains close strategic relations with China. Moscow would likely call for restraint rather than supply forces. The United States has deepened defense cooperation with India, technology transfers, joint exercises, and yet continues to provide Pakistan with F-16 fighter jets under counter-terrorism conditions. In a three-front war, US policy would prioritize its own regional interests, offering diplomatic backing but no guarantee of direct military aid to India. Consequences and casualty projections. A simultaneous three-front conflict would be devastating. Military casualties could reach well into the tens or hundreds of thousands on all sides within weeks, given modern firepower and missile use. Civilian impact, missile and artillery strikes on border towns, refugee flows across interior lines, disruption of critical infrastructure. Territorial outcomes. India might hold its own in the west and east, but significant gains or losses in the Himalayas are unlikely. Deep strikes into Pakistan could seize strategic depth, though this risks escalation. Bangladesh's stability could fracture under external pressures, potentially opening a precarious eastern front. State survival, Pakistan's fragile economy and political cohesion could unravel under sustained pressure, leading to territorial concessions or even state collapse. China would unlikely seek to occupy large swathes of Indian territory beyond its strategic aims, withdrawing once objectives are met. India itself would emerge battered economically, though its stronger growth trajectory and larger economy would enable recovery faster than its weaker neighbors. Strategic recommendations for India: force modernization and expansion, grow and better equip strike corps capable of rapid mobilization on all three fronts. Continue indigenization of critical systems, engines, electronics, missiles, to reduce import dependence. Nuclear deterrence: expand and diversify nuclear delivery options, submarine-launched, MIRVed ICBMs, to ensure second strike capability and credible deterrence against China's larger arsenal. Air and naval power: procure next-generation fighters and develop high-altitude UAVs for Himalayan surveillance. Build more carriers and diesel-electric plus air-independent propulsion submarines to dominate sea lanes and deter adversaries. Allied coordination: deepen interoperability and intelligence sharing within the Quad. Strengthen defense ties with Russia and Central Asian states to prevent adversarial blocs. Economic resilience: allocate higher peacetime defense budgets and maintain robust defense industrial ecosystems to withstand protracted conflict. Diplomacy and conflict prevention: resolve bilateral disputes, for example river waters with Bangladesh, demarcation issues with China, to deny adversaries pretexts for escalation. In purely theoretical terms, India's ability to survive or win a three-front war rests on decisive modernization, enhanced deterrence, and smart diplomacy. While its vast manpower and growing military edge give it advantages over Pakistan and Bangladesh, China remains a formidable peer. Only by integrating technology, alliances, and economic strength can India hope to deter such a scenario, or if forced, to endure it with acceptable losses.